Okay, I figured it out. I understand now how attached people crush authorities because authorities love to always back themselves away, but they still care about the person that they're backing away themselves from. So you can always reattach to them pretty easily simply by showing care, I believe. It makes sense. It's also very important that you sort of know all the rules that authorities impose on you. Because there's always like these little secret things that you might be caught under. Uh, you must know all the things that authority wants from you. You figure out their intentions. And as they're trying to back away from you, uh, they leave you a clue. An attached person would pick up on this clue that they sort of have this bad intention, and the authority is going to be like, oh shit, I've been exposed to a certain degree. It's just quite interesting. Manipulation. This is the topic of today. And holy shit, it's complicated. It comes from 4 different angles, yet again. Four different personalities, do different things. Even myself included. I'm gonna leave it for the last. But most importantly and most notably is like always centered around shaming people. Shaming people, putting them into this corner position where they have to do your thing. You've manipulated, you mind control that person, and he's gonna do what you want. And backstabbing is just going back and forth. Everyone is just sending each other to do their own shit. And there's no independence. Everyone is dependent. Everyone is a drug addict of finding that other person who they can stab a knife into and gain benefit from that. Everyone is running around like crazy doing this. And most importantly, people can't help themselves because they have a personality. They have some kind of emotional problem. Funny thing is, as I figure out, water people, for example, they get easily offended, easily shocked. But because they're easily shocked, they're actually happy to express that emotion. It actually pours out of them, but they sort of hate it. They sort of hate you for exposing them, for exposing their emotion. People hate you for knowing who they really are. It's like that Family Guy episode where Stewie sort of actually expresses himself and he hates the therapist for exposing him, right? It's almost like therapy is a bad thing is if you're a manipulator because you want to hide yourself behind a mask. If someone breaks your mask, oh boy. And that's the way that you can defend yourself. You show the capacity of breaking people's masks and ripping them off. That would be pretty damn powerful. I still don't have this ability. I still fall for this bullshit because money creates money. And I often run out of options, and so I just allow myself to be manipulated if that ever happens. I hide myself a lot from everything and block people more and more and hate people more and more and just I'm trying to stay away from this. And if a lot of things are happening in my life that are manipulative, I can't even understand what are people doing in the actual real world. How do people survive and keep their sanity? I don't understand. We shouldn't be like, hey guys, there's better help. We need like everything. Everyone helping everyone else, man. That would actually be helpful. So I don't know. I don't know how people are even smart or sane. Women are maybe more manipulative than men, even though they sort of symbiotically exist, and women tend to blackmail men, and men are manipulated, sort of, but they sort of feel the ownership. It's just, ugh. Why do you send a man to try and hurt me? Stupid women. And why do you project all this awesome imagery about yourselves? Super attractive. But deep down, they have nothing to offer. It's just like a candy wrapped in such a super shiny thing. Smells nice. Looks amazing. You open it up, and it looks still good. The candy still looks good, and it's poison. And it's like, you die if you take this. You know that? You fucking die if you have a relationship with a woman right now. In fact, I would argue single women are totally legit way to live. Being a single woman is a totally legit way to live. I feel like I dodged a lot of drama in my family. I didn't have to find my mom. She helped me a lot. I didn't have to find my dad. He helped me get here and get the opportunity of just earning decent living and establishing some kind of independence. And that's great. But it sort of feels like they had the tools to manipulate me, that my parents had tools to manipulate me, which quite something to investigate. Every single time any conflict happens, they have their strategies, and they go nuts on those strategies. Oh man, and it's painfully obvious and annoying. My mom sort of went crazy. Everyone thinks that way, at least. I don't think myself that way, but maybe I was a resource to her. I don't know. Maybe she felt like she owns me, like Jake Paul owns all these other people. It's like, well, at least I have family. Well, I don't think the same way. I don't give a fuck about family. Okay, they care, but I don't. And it would really hurt for them to know that, but you have to put effort to prove anything. Yeah, I love it when in a classroom I was like, I said that. You need to put effort to prove your worth. You're not just some kind of label. Oh, I'm a president. Oh, I'm a car salesman. No, you're not. The moment you stop putting effort, you're not any profession that deserves any respect, because you're not doing the work anymore. You might have been, but you're not. And sort of everything just seems to collapse for this reason, that everyone is manipulating, and the society is being, well, in a self-destructive state, almost embracing manipulation because it's so rewarding, and people don't feel that little bit of karma that's about to happen anytime soon, right? But we'll see. There's just so many ways to look at this world and be disgusted how it works altogether. Let's just run through all the personalities, and 3 things to note as well. It's 4 when it comes to the masking and okay, manipulators fear exposure. They really fear exposure. They really fear care of any kind that cares to destroy their mask, as I've introduced. But it's also important, manipulators manipulate themselves. They have to live with themselves. They have to live with their own manipulation. If they get exposed, they also become more aware of how evil they are, of all the little things they do evil. So they will get really triggered if you criticize their behavior. I think it would actually work. And I can't wait to do it if I get a chance. But again, I need opportunities. I need resources. I cannot do it from my position. And a lot of people are pushed into these corners where they cannot sort of resist or defend themselves, which is quite a risk factor for the entire system, right? If everyone is pushed into corners and they're just super compliant to the manipulators, it's terrible. So a lot of people don't know they're manipulators. Again, requires exposure, and for manipulators, being known is a bad thing. Keeping friends for too long and they get to know you and they get to understand your true personality, because the way people make friends is to hide themselves. It's like, well, I can have you as a friend because you don't know me. So that's a good thing for them. So holy shit, right? There are two rules that they often break. And I got this call today, which kind of triggers the entire episode. I was called in for work, and it happens. It comes from the same exact person a lot, and that person is a fire person who asks a lot of questions. I met another person, so I was called in, right? And the question that triggers me is like, why you don't want to go to work, or do you have a good reason? It's like, are you fucking serious? I also got in trouble before when the same person called. I kind of missed the bus, but I came in time, right? So it wasn't my fault. I wasn't the one to blame, but again, the person who called me asks a bunch of questions and pushes me into a corner and pushes all the blame on me and makes me guilty for something that I shouldn't be guilty about. It was a big problem of a bus driving off too early, right? But why did everyone else were capable of catching the bus and you didn't? You fucking should be ashamed of yourself, even though I follow all the rules and everything, right? Do I have to bring evidence? Am I now that I did some kind of crime? It's like, holy shit. Defending yourself against fire people is insanity. The only thing that I can come up with is just telling these fire people that if you don't like them, I can just go, right? But I can't, because I don't have opportunity. See, the only way you can actually dodge manipulation is showing that you can leave and do something else and not care about that person jumping on you or whatever. It's quite shitty. Yeah, Logan Paul. Manipulators are more savage. Now get the fuck out of here. Anyways. And savage is not a good thing. So these people break two rules. Two karma rules, basically. People do better work when they're happy. It's supposed to be a known fact. If you make people happy, they work a lot harder and more excited about doing work in the first place. They will be more complacent. They will allow themselves to work harder because they're happy. They don't give a fuck. And they come out of work still happy, and they spend a good day. Probably don't spend too much money. They have a good time and share their happiness with everyone else, and it's like accumulating, and bam, holy shit, you have a nice little world that actually works. But you don't have that. No. If we had that, this happiness would spread to anyone who's open to be happy. I am open to be happy. Am I not? I'm open to have friends and relationships and care for other people. Prove me wrong. I don't understand how this works if happiness is all over the place, because I cannot find it. Just saying. Just super sane, man. I mean, I can find it in YouTube comments, but I certainly cannot find women. No, none of that shit. I actually, okay. I do feel like there's tiny bit of hope for women. That little tiny bit of hope. That some women who get completely disappointed, but they still come out the other end, and they still succeed. And I'm like, wow, women have it easy. It's just crazy. And they want even easier. This is why I hate them so much. It just feels so unfair. They feel like on completely different scale of success. So I don't know. And they have laws bent around their fingers, like whatever. The good contract means that the good contract karma rule means that you better make contracts instead of expecting something. You prepare it instead of poking people and expecting them to react to a certain way. You contract with them, so there's no expectations to play around with. You never shock people with some new stuff they have to adapt to. You're already prepared for this. It's very important. It makes things consistent and simple and allows you to, well, prepare yourself. Everyone who makes a contract knows what they're doing, basically. That's very important. And people break this rule as well. Very, very often. By calling me, I wasn't prepared to answer the call. I wasn't prepared to go to work. And I definitely wasn't prepared to answer why I am not prepared. Are you fucking kidding me? Anyways, the three other personalities, I'm gonna quickly say that the wind personality is done. I've revealed it in a previous video, all the manipulation tactics. But basically, it's usually just hot and cold. They get cold on you, and in the start of the video, I explained the same thing. They get cold on you if you're overly attached. They can't really go cold on you. And then when you offer something, they come back and take it, and they go cold on you again. So they take offerings because they're the authority, right? Like they're like the gods, like the statue where you put offerings to. That's who they are. They'll come back if you offer something. Water people are emotion driven, but most importantly is shock driven. The moment you understand which personality the person has, it might actually be very, very easy to dodge everything. Because the way you win this, when you expose them, when you expose their emotion, they love their emotion. I love being angry. Okay. And water people love to be shocked. When leftists get triggered and offended, they actually love this shit. And it's not rational for them to respond in an evil manner and try to throw bricks because they are shocked. They actually should be thankful. I'm not exactly sure how to turn this around, but I know this. I know they are actually happier when they're shocked. Seems interesting. Now, water people are sort of good at blackmailing. They're like little girls sending big guys to teach you a lesson. It's holy shit. You call them a bitch. Oh my god. So, it's sort of a waste of resources most of the time. And it's annoying that people actually allow themselves to be manipulated by blackmailing, by turning themselves into blackmail. doing things for someone else that are intended for evil. Just listening for other people is already bad enough, but like doing evil things, like being on military, are you sure you're doing the right thing here? Are you sure about karma? Because karma is more valuable than money. Oh boy. If you ever played Far Cry, you would know. Just kidding, Far Cry doesn't know jack shit about karma. They at least have it though. Congratulations, Far Cry. You made it in there. I never played the 5th version though. Alright, so, and the lastly is my personality, the overly attached person. And for some reason I also have this habit to call someone stupid, call everyone stupid, and hate people in general. And people hate this habit. But hey, I never intend anything bad when I say that someone is stupid. I just say that I don't like them in that specific situation. If that's bad for them, if that's manipulative, I don't know. I don't think I ever really intended to manipulate anyone. That's what feels so bad. And this is, again, another reason why I run the series is because, like, what the fuck everyone else is doing. It's really annoying. Really pisses me. But it's also important to learn from this. It's like, you wouldn't really understand if you were born into a world where no manipulation is happening. You wouldn't actually appreciate it for what it is. So, okay, it's an experience. I can appreciate it as I'm learning through this. That's about it. But you can also check Terry TV. He talks about someone stole his girlfriend, and the guy who stole his girlfriend is an overly attached person who pretends that they know everyone that they meet. They just meet a person and they're the best friends forever already. I don't know how this works, but holy shit. I am that kind of person. Any single time I meet anyone, I tend to attach to them. I can't help it. Because I don't have it. I don't have people in my life in the first place. But at the same time, I'm angry enough to recognize that I sort of hate people, and I even hate attaching to people because I sort of start to realize that they are in fact manipulators. And I sort of peel off their mask slowly. And I sort of hate this process, but I know that on the other end I can change things around maybe. But I wasn't prepared, so it was sort of manipulative to not be aware of this process. I don't know. People are manipulators mostly because they don't know any better. They just live with their personalities, not thinking twice of what they're doing. If you learn all these skills, you can play rock, paper, scissors and always win. That's good enough to just beat everyone. Become the Scott Pilgrim of today's world, huh? It's quite something. See you guys later.